Cool. So thanks for inviting me down. My name's Aidan, as Sarah said, and I own the company MA Fitness. Now you're probably questioning why a 26-year-old lad's come to a menopause meeting. The simple reason is the simple reason for it is I've trained a lot of people over my time. I've trained some of the most well-known celebs in the world. I've trained some of the biggest people on the planet, but the vast majority of my clients are 40 to 65-year-old menopausal ladies. So I've done quite a lot of research into it because I need to know why it happens in order to get the best results. And the first thing I'm going to say is this data that I'm going to give you today is all correlative. Okay, now let me explain what correlative is. This isn't complete factual. This is what 100% what happens. I'm trying to give you what I believe happens if X and X happens. Okay, do we all understand what I'm saying? Okay, I'm not going to give you answers tonight because to know you all completely individually would be absolutely impossible. Okay, but what I'll try and do is give you the best generic answers that I can to try and, give you the best sort of information to go away with. Okay? Super.
So we thought that we'd go through a series of questions that Aidan can answer, and then after we've done say 3, we'll have a break so that you ladies can go to the toilet, get yourself a drink, turn the heating down. First, Sarah.
No, you. Hey, stop looking at me or I'm going.
We've got the same name. Right, so first question, Aidan. During your studies, have you found any evidence to suggest why women suffer different symptoms from each other? Because, I don't have, hot flushes, but I had, severe mood swings and anxiety. And, I know that, Nick has hot flushes and anxiety and she has everything. So we all have. I mean, I know that there's the generic ones that most people have, and then there's all the other symptoms. But is there anything that determines why we would have one and not the other?
I would put that down to your neurological tracts. So whenever I get to know a client, I do something called the Braverman test, which is where I work at their dominant neurological tract. Now what that is the chemicals in your brain affect the way that you think, essentially. So most people, especially females, are affected by something called GABA, okay? But there's another 3 called alkatosylene, dopamine and serotonin that I work off, okay? You've probably heard of dopamine, you've probably heard of serotonin, you might not have heard of alkatosylene. Okay, those 4 can massively affect where you are in terms of your menopause and that sort of different stuff, and also the effects that it can have on the body. And there's also no real way of determining the severity of what you're going to get, because I've had some ladies tell me that they've woke up in the middle of the night and they've literally had to change the sheets on the bed because they're sweating so much. And I've also had ladies tell me that they get no hot sweats, but they also get, as you've said, one moment they could be punching a bus stop, the next moment they're crying at Titanic. So you're getting that sort of thing, and that one would be mainly off dopamine and serotonin, because that's what regulates those sort of things. And there's a very simple way to work it out, and I'm going to do it with everyone today. But there's no real way of me saying to you, this does this, this does this, this does this, because we're all made up of different things. Okay, I can tell you now that hydration makes a massive difference. I can tell you now that nutrition makes an absolutely monumental difference, and exercise makes somewhat of a difference if you're that way sort of inclined. Now, I wouldn't want it to force you to do anything you didn't want to do, but that's the truth. If you are hydrated, you're eating well, and you go to the gym, you're going to feel better. And that also changes that neurological tract slightly. So that's what I've found through doing what I do. If I've got a lady that wants a result yesterday, that would indicate to me a high level of dopamine, so therefore they're going to get way more frustrated with the menopause than, let's say, for someone who's a GABA nature.
So could you say then that that's actually determined by our personality?
I'd say so, yeah.
Right, so if, for me, I'm quite a highly strung character anyway, that obviously I don't know what you're like. Don't you look at me like that. That because of that, then therefore I would sort of like be, I don't know, get fed up a lot easier
So
than I would have done previously.
What I find with someone who's quite highly strung, if you say like yourself, because you're getting so frustrated with it and you can't be, you know, as functional as you normally are, that would indicate that you would get even more of the problem, so to speak. So without finding the thing that calms you down, you're going to get worse and worse as it goes along. You probably find that your symptoms are worse when you're not doing X, whatever you do to calm yourself down, which, as I know, is the gym.
Yes.
But there's other people, such as the GABA, when I'll get onto all this in a minute, who would probably put everyone else before themselves, which a vast majority of females do. Okay, 50% of almost everyone in the world is GABA. Okay, so there are a lot of different people who fall under that category.
My ex-husband went.
Hence
Ex-husband. So what you need to do is work out where you are, and I'm going to try and do that for you right now. So, very, very simple. Okay, now you're probably thinking, why is he doing this analogy? But just go with it. Try not to say anything. Just think in your head what it is. Okay, you're stuck on a desert island. Okay, and you're with 5 other people. Okay, you're probably thinking the 5 people in your head now, but let's not go into that. Okay, would you, when I give you one of these items, which one would you take? You can only take one. Okay, would you take a megaphone? Would you take a rope? Would you take a cup that you can share? Or would you have a bar of chocolate that you can eat then, but you cannot give to anybody else? Okay? Again, we'll go with a rope. We will go with megaphone. We will go with bar of chocolate that you can't give to anyone else. Or we'll go with a cup. I've just heard someone say that is really hard to do.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Straight away.
Cool. So this is straight away. We're getting personality types, aren't we?
Let's put the hands up.
So when we, you can actually find just before I go for it that you're actually a mixture of 2, and you can't really decide which one you want. Okay. So hands up. Who'd have the megaphone?
Oh, I was thinking.
The megaphone. Who would have the megaphone? So yeah, some people talk louder than others. Okay, hands up. Who would take the rope? Cool. So 3. Who'd take the cup that you can share? And who would take the chocolate that they wouldn't share with anybody else? Okay. So let's break that down. Okay. The megaphone to begin with. Okay. Everyone knows a person who would take a megaphone. This is the person who wants to be listened to. The leader. This is the person who wants to be organised, to do the organising, who wants to be heard, and who wants to get stuff done now. Okay? That's your dopamine nature. So therefore, these sort of people, when it comes down to the menopause, are really going to struggle to understand why they can't just get through it and get it gone. Am I about right? The guys who said dopamine?
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
Hands up who said the rope. Okay, this is the weird one, because this is the one I'm not massively great with. Okay, this is something called alkatosaline. It's the creative side. Now, there's so many different things you could do with a rope. It's unbelievable. Okay, we won't mention one because I know what you're all thinking. But let's say, for example, now you've got the rope. You could get water with it. You could pull people along. You could pull things out of trees. You could create something with it. That's alkatosaline. They're creative. Okay. What happens during the menopause with people who are very creative is they become less creative, and they seem to just sort of I've just heard that can't be bothered to cook. That's a big one. They just go, I'll just rather just chuck something in the microwave and get it over with. Okay. Hands up who said GABA. Hands up who said the cup that you can share.
Yeah.
Okay. So most women across the world are GABA. Okay. That's the reason for that is because naturally women are better at sharing things than men. Okay? Of course, everyone goes yes at this point. But the reason for that is because they're more maternal. Okay? They have to share more things. You carry a baby around for 9 months, so you've definitely got to share something. Okay? Women are much, much better at being at sharing than men are. Okay? Most men you'll find are more dopamine slash serotonin, which I'll get onto at the end. And what you find with GABA is you guys put other people before yourself. So therefore, you're probably thinking, oh, I've got to get home, I've got to cook the tea, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. That way, everyone else is sorted but yourself. Correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So therefore, the issue is, and I've always said this, you cannot look after someone else when you can't look after yourself. The problem is you're putting yourself into more of a pit, which is stressing you out, increasing something called cortisol, which I'll get onto in a moment, okay? And that's going to put you at a disadvantage straight away. People who are high in GABA during the menopause actually need to be more selfish, believe it or not. Because if you can't look after yourself, I promise you, you can't look after someone else. It's almost impossible. Okay? Final one, the bar of chocolate that you can't share.
Yes.
Okay? So these people are these are serotonin natures. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that.
But
You like instant gratification. You like stuff done. There you go. Instantly. Whereas someone like a dopamine wanted it yesterday, they don't care about the chocolate because it's disposable. There's nothing you can really do with it. Whereas people with serotonin want that instant click. Okay. The problem is with the menopause, you don't get the instant click. Okay. How many people would say they've been going through it for years? Yeah. Quite a lot of people. So therefore, if you're a serotonin nature, you're really, really going to struggle with the menopause because it's not instant. It's not straight away. Now, the one thing that I said at the beginning, dopamine, instant, they want stuff now. Serotonin, instant, they want stuff now. Alkyltoline and GABA generally can wait longer for things.
Does that make sense, Lloyd?
yeah.
Now, what's crazy is I've just profiled you off one question. You can do a million other things to work out where you are. But it's also understanding what you can do. Number one, from a nutritional point of view. Number two, from a home life point of view. But recognising where you can make small changes to your life to make a huge benefit. And again, we'll get onto that.
Okay. Yeah, we were talking about that and about some of the main symptoms. I may actually go through these and then it not make any sense because we've already covered it. Or is there anything proactive that we as women can do that doesn't involve HRT? Because obviously HRT is something that we grasp onto because it's something that replaces those hormones that are sort of like running away from our bodies. Is there anything else that we can do that will help us through this stage in our life?
Yeah, definitely. Hydration.
Okay.
Okay, so how many people in here are hydrated? Honestly, would you say yes? I'm hydrated.
Yeah.
Cool, no problem.
No,
So
because
what?
the problem with that is because if you drink,
you just keep going.
and that's hard, you know.
I accept that.
Does your body though get used to the hydration?
Yeah.
Or you build it up over time?
It does. It takes a while for it to do. But what you'll find is when you first start really hydrating yourself, it is going through as fast as it's coming out. Okay. The reason for that is it's not actually carrying really anything around with it, so it's not really got any purpose. Whereas when you start to get your nutrition right, that's when it starts carrying stuff around and it starts being harvested properly. So let's say, for example, now we've put something in. Let's say, for example, we've had a nutritious meal. Okay. The protein wants to go to the muscle. The carbs want to go to the muscle. All these different things. They want to move around the body. If you're not hydrated, they don't move around. It just sits there. So this is where hydration becomes key. Now, hydration also helps the nerve cell from the brain get to where it needs to be.
So how do you know if you're hydrated?
You can roughly work it out. If you are drinking less than 2 litres of water a day, I would practically say that you're dehydrated. 2 litres. 2 litres. Yeah. Between two.
Do you have to drink water or is that counts as cup of tea?
No. This is water.
So literally 2 litres.
Yeah. Almost. I'm looking around me now. I can see J2Os, Peronis, all these different things. Yeah, everyone's hiding it now. Yeah. All of these are dehydrated. Believe it or not. So therefore, when we're getting the alcohol into the system, which again is massively dehydrating, you're not actually getting anything around your body. So therefore, that nerve cell can't get from the brain to where it needs to be, and that misconnection is creating panic. So therefore, what are we getting? We're getting the hot flushes. We're getting sort of. Has anyone ever heard of brain fog? Yeah. Okay. Literally, Does anyone notice you also got that when you were having a child? If anyone's had children, obviously. Yeah, that's because you're not hydrated and you're not getting the stuff around the body to be able to get the. You could put lemon in it. You could put squash in it. As long as it's not fizzy pop or anything like that. I've just said pop. I've realised my black country's coming out. For guys at home, that's like juices and that sort of stuff. You could always put that sort of stuff in, as long as it's sugar free.
Fizzy water with that cordial.
That would be okay.
That is
Cordial's quite high in sugar though, which is a
Are you
different.
okay with fizzy water though?
Yeah, fizzy water's okay. As long as it's going in and it's moving around.
Pints of blackcurrant and sodas like.
So, how much water do you drink?
Well, the difficulty is because I train, I need to drink far more because
How much would you say though?
between 4 and 5 litres a day.
Oh, God.
I drink about.
Can you drown?
Yeah, you can. The thing is, you've actually got to drink it in a certain way. If you drink 5 litres straight off, you'll probably get secondary drowning. A lot of bodybuilders have actually done it. If you look it up. But yeah, it's something really key is to make sure that your body's hydrated.
So should you build it up over a period of time?
Yeah,
So
I wouldn't go straight into 3 litres straight away.
No, so you just.
Although people like dopamine natures would.
Don't some people with the menopause suffer with fluid retention though?
Kind of, yeah. You can hold
So
on.
do
You
is that
can
because
you can
need
hold
to
on to
drink
fluid.
more to get
Yeah, that's to get it out. I mean, people who've got
Someone said to me, if you don't exercise or eat healthy or drink water, it's just like pools of water in your body.
essentially there's nothing to move it on.
I know
So it
this
just
is really boring, but what I've been doing for the last few weeks, every morning when I wake up, I fill the kettle right to the top, obviously boil it, pour it into a big jug to let it cool off, have a shot of that aloe vera juice, and then during a period of like an hour for a morning, I just drink that whole kettle full of settled water.
Yeah.
And I think that's made a real difference to my skin and my hair.
Yeah, but it makes a huge. I've recently done something with a client who has had a full company medical. Started with me 10 weeks ago, came through to now. He's gained half an inch in height.
What?
Because hydration helps you with your bones. So therefore stuff like osteoporosis and all that different stuff. Where if you drink, no, you're not going mad. Where if you hydrate properly, your body will grow.
That's why you see old folk, a lot of them are shrunk.
Dehydrated.
Yeah.
They're dehydrated all along.
Can I ask alcohol.
Alcohol.
Should we ask about alcohol?
Yes.
I'm dying.
It's all about balance though, isn't it?
You are.
It's all about balance. Yeah.
It is, but I mean,
It's no effects.
obviously we, as menopausal women, we tend to Friday night. Oh gosh, need a glass of wine, or you know, and it's almost like a
See, I'm just gonna
second
butt in there.
nature.
How many people in this room only drink on Friday? Put your hands up if you only drink on Friday.
Saturday.
I only drink on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
So out of this entire room here, we've got what 1, 2 people that only drink on Friday.
Oh yeah, Friday or Saturday.
That's just tradition. That's just what people in Britain do on a Friday. They have a blowout because it's the end of the week and they're getting ready for the weekend. Okay. The only problem is with that, you're actually going to put yourself back by 4 days. But at the end of the day, if you feel like you want to go and have a drink, have a drink. There's no point in restricting yourself because you'll actually get the negative stress from that anyway, which is going to cause the problem. What I would say is, do you have to drink to excess? No. Definitely not. Now, everyone knows what their excess is. Okay. If I have 4 pints, this would be terrible. Okay, I'll probably be cartwheeling down there. But everyone knows where their sort of level lies. Okay, now a lot of what I found with a lot of people, and this is getting quite deep, is they're actually drinking alcohol to mask the problems.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because you do actually get a lot of pain from menopause. There's a lot of things that can cause you quite a bit of pain. I mean, there's cramping. There's stuff in your vaginal regions that are going to cause a massive amount of pain. And I think that the alcohol is almost used to mask it a little bit. It's something to take your mind off it. Also, alcohol generally has quite a lot of sugar in it. And your body starts to crave that sugar. The problem is that sugar's addictive. So you've got to be very, very careful with it. The issue is with alcohol, it can, so do you know when we're all drunk? Has everyone been drunk? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That nerve coating that's taking the message from your brain to your legs to say walk isn't quite doing that anymore, and all of a sudden you start doing something funny and you fall over and all that different stuff. You've got to think, if you're drinking alcohol quite regularly, that's happening all the time. Now when we're in the menopause, you want to get that message from the brain to wherever it needs to be as seamlessly as possible. That doesn't really work with alcohol, if I'm being frankly honest.
I think it makes a difference. Sorry, I think it makes a difference that I can't tolerate it like I used to be able to.
I get drunk.
A couple of glasses of wine now and I'm on the floor. Where I could have drunk a bottle.
That might be because your body isn't getting it round properly, or getting it, you know. We all laugh when we say, oh my God, we've broke the seal. Here we go, I'm going to constantly be on the toilet now. But that's true. That's because your body was getting it in, realising what it wanted to do with it and getting rid of it. Whereas it isn't doing that now, it's storing onto it. And therefore when it stays in the stomach and it starts moving around the body, that's why it's hitting you harder.
And as much as alcohol is not good for you, are there other things that have similar effects?
Alcohol's probably got the highest problem for me. Junk food makes a huge... caffeine, yes, can, because it speeds up your adrenal glands and these different stuff, but would I say that's as high as alcohol and takeaway food? No, definitely not.
Like I don't want to drink that while I'm with the menopause. It's put me off.
So what does it make you feel like?
Like I used to enjoy a drink, but I don't now.
Has it changed your taste? Has it changed your...
Just don't feel like having a drink.
And that's just where your hormones have changed.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. The thing is that you get a massive...
Now I don't want to.
Could you imagine what it feels like to jump out of a plane? Yeah? Everyone get the idea of what it feels like to jump out of a plane. You get that sudden massive, whoa, that's dopamine. You get exactly the same with alcohol. It increases your dopamine. It's a feel-good factor. Strangely enough, it's the same thing that you get with the gym, but nobody really knows that, so to speak.
Yeah,
I
I get the gym kick. Yeah, it's brilliant. You get that. It doesn't happen while you're working out. It happens just after you're finished, because the oxygen's then going around the body, and your body goes, "Oh, that's quite nice." And that kind of brings us on to exercise.
Right. The question. We'll do this third question, then we'll have a break. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Many women gain weight during the menopause, particularly around their middle, and they're always saying, "Oh, I've got this here. How can I get rid of it?" Now I know that sort of like weight gain can be down to hormones protecting our ovaries, but is there anything else that happens within our body that causes that weight gain other than us drinking and eating all the wrong?
Yeah, I've got the problem is, and this is what we've all found now. Almost everything drops during the menopause. If you come to a personal trainer, we can avoid that. No, almost all of your neurological levels drop. Your serotonin drops, your dopamine drops, your GABA drops, your oxytocin. Everything starts to sort of everything just starts to slow down more. This also happens with your metabolism. The older through life you get, the more your metabolic rate is going to drop. The problem is with the menopause, it's regulated by a part of the brain that also regulates metabolism. So that's why people are almost to the day piling pounds on. The problem is when you're younger you can get away with it because your metabolism really starts. I mean, food that you know you shouldn't be eating, not exercising, deciding that you'd rather watch another episode of Dancing on Ice and a glass of wine rather than getting up and actually doing something. You've got to question that, because what we're going to get onto the second part is almost taking a little bit of look at your self-efficacy. Now, self-efficacy is something called self-worth, and this drops massively during menopause because you feel like there's less. There you go. There's less cause.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of ladies who get into menopausal age their kids have just gone.
That's what I'm dealing with.
Which means you're getting a bit of empty nest. straight away you're then going, well, I don't really need to do as much. The kids aren't here, so I don't need to clean the house as much, or I don't need to be out working as much to provide a living, all this different stuff. You question straight away. You're going, God, I feel down. And then not only that, do you feel down? All of these neurotoxins are dropping through the floor. You're gonna get stir crazy.
This is what's important though, to understand the chemical stuff, the balance
Of course,
what's
yeah.
affecting. So I think everyone just looks at it and thinks, well, I'll try this or try that, but you need to understand what
The difficulty comes that there's not a lot of research into menopause.
to. Yeah.
If I'm a diabetes specialist, if you want me to sit here and talk about diabetes, none of us will go on. It's as simple as that, because I could talk your head off on it. The studies on menopause, I did this just before I came out to make sure that everything I'm saying is what I think is right. There's barely any studies on it.
Yeah.
And also, for me, I mean, it's like type 2 diabetes is self-caused.
Yeah.
So you can crash
The menopause isn't. So therefore, it should be more invested in, because you've got that. Women are going to go through the menopause.
Yeah.
Yes, some don't deal with it as well as others. Because I have trained. I mean, there's one lady who would say, I actually don't think I've been through the menopause. She barely got a symptom.
Yeah. It's very rare.
Look, it's very, very rare, but it also does happen. But that lady also then questions, well, when's it going to start? Personally, I think she's been through.
Yeah, the doctor.
But then she's going, am I weird? Am I strange? Because everyone else is feeling absolutely rubbish and I feel fine. There's a lot of questions you've got to ask yourself on how you feel. And you've got to bring it back to yourself. And I said it in the second part of the question. If you're not looking after yourself, believe me, now you're not looking after anybody else.
And you're talking about diet and sleep. And
Yeah, of course. I'm looking at that sort of stuff because, unfortunately, and this is where I get blunt, you've only got yourself to blame. If you're going to decide to go down that route of, practically, I can't be bothered to sort it out for myself, trust me, it ain't going to get any better. And I say the same thing. Yeah.
The problem is when you are in a situation, you're going through menopause and you've got other things going on, there's not that much time left to devote to yourself. Do you get what I mean?
I get that, but that's where you need...
it's hard to say, like, how about me? Because you ain't really got any energy for you.
No, I get
what I'm
that,
saying?
but then that's the sort of thing where you look back to the GABA question, are you putting everybody else before yourself? Because if you just simply have a sit down and go, I'm really struggling here, I need an hour to get out for myself, even if that means you're going to go and sit in the steam room for an hour by yourself and have a think, or I just need an hour to go and read my book. I'm pretty sure your partners, your immediate family is willing to go, okay.
It's making them understand it, though. I think that's the problem.
Because not many people get the menopause. And most guys, let's be honest, because there isn't that much information on it, we ain't got a clue.
Do you know what? I wish my husband was sat here.
I said, well, that's
Yeah, and you know, I'm not just...
You should talk to the husbands
Yeah, but I'm
so
not
they
ju-
understand us.
I get that, but there's a massive difference in generation. The workplace has changed. I'm 26. Me and my girlfriend earn the same money. We both put we both look to provide the same for our house. The evolution of man and women has totally changed. If you talk to my friends who are 26, I can promise you now, guys wise, they are all over the place body image. If you talk to my 26-year-old female friends, they don't care at all. Totally changed.
Yeah.
But yet you guys are in a generation where that was the way. The guy goes to work, earns the money, the lady does that sort of stuff. It may have changed slightly and other people have got that look on their face where I never did that. There's quite a lot of people that have. And I think that pressure goes on to ladies a little bit, that they need to hold the family together when they get a little bit.
It's true.
And that's pressure. That pressure causes...
But things have changed now.
I think we're stuck in the middle because my mum, she stopped at home, she had me, she had my brother, she was, she made the tea, she run the house. And then there was me, and then my brother is, he's hands-on, he looks after the kids, he cooks the tea, he does the washing and everything else. I think our sort of era is in the middle of between sort of, being a mom and a wife.
And working as well.
And working.
Yeah,
And
of course.
I think it's a massive issue.
It is.
I do think that the menopause for me is totally different to what it was
Do you know
for
what's
my
I
mum.
think
Yeah.
it's great?
And they couldn't talk about it.
And mothers looked after us
Just
as
get on with it.
children, and you could come home from school and you're in your house, and unless someone rang your house phone, no one got in touch with you. We're now looking after kids.
Yeah.
They're on their phones all the time,
Yeah.
seeing what everyone else is doing, got that
Yeah.
fear of missing out, an image and all sorts
Yeah.
of stuff. We're dealing with that, and then you've also got parents who aren't very well, so you kind of,
Yeah.
you really are stuck.
And it comes back to the looking after yourself bit. Now, I find if you're being proactive and you're being prepared with your food, your water. I mean, like, we're all sat here with a drink now. Are you actually drinking it? Of course you are, because it's in front of you. It's basic. It's basic. If you get a bottle and put it on your table at home, you will drink it because it's there. If it's not there, you won't drink it. It's as simple. You have to try and make these little alterations to be able to feel that little bit better. Am I going to say I'm going to cure the menopause? No. But what I am saying is I can try and make it as comfortable as possible for you.
So I can actually relate to what you're saying, and I did say this to the ladies that were here last time, but I was going on a real downward spiral before Christmas with diet, not drinking a hell of a lot of alcohol, but if I did drink I was out of control and nasty and all sorts of things. And I just thought after Christmas, right, I'm going to make some huge changes, which was diet, exercise and no alcohol, but I did have a drink on Friday, which I did fancy one. So I had a drink for about 7 weeks. I feel absolutely amazing. And that's just diet, exercise. And now I'm a lot better for my family. I've got a lot more of a better relationship with my husband. Everything now is just following suit.
But are you still getting menopausal side effects?
I'm not
Symptoms?
getting the hot flushies. I was getting those absolutely terribly. Those have now stopped. But I just feel very well.
Yeah. And that's
And
great. That's wonderful to hear. And
That's really good.
But are those huge changes?
Well, no, they're not.
No,
really.
you've cut your takeaway out and started drinking more hydration. That's not a huge change.
No.
A huge and then we're going to get onto self-efficacy in the second part, and I'm going to talk about being in gyms and what you can do to improve exercise, because everyone starts going, how many people in here would absolutely grin bear going into a gym? Put your hands up.
Me,
Who would be petrified to go into a gym?
I just don't know.
Okay, which is quite good. I mean, that's way less arms than I was expecting, because that is the number one problem I've had all my fitness career. Is females seem to be petrified of the gym.
I think it depends on the gym you go to.
So I think it's the commitment, when you're going to go, and fitting the time and making excuses, but also
Talking
it's a
yourself
ball
over.
ache, isn't it, on a rowing machine, and you've got 10 minutes on your bike.
But that's not exercise. That's boring.
I'd rather go for a really nice walk. If all these women here said, let's all meet on Tuesday night to the cricket club and go for a walk when the weather's better, that's the kind of thing I love.
That's the social side of things. That's what, a lot of women are facing the menopause, let's be honest, alone. Now we're coming to a group session tonight, absolutely fantastic. We're all getting together, we're discussing it, brilliant. Everyone gets a little bit more information. How much time do you actually spend on your own?
Tonight.
Well, the vast majority of it, you're in your car driving to work. Then you're at work and you talk. You might be at an office and you've got to do something, or you might be a teacher and I don't know. You get in that time where you're actually spending quite a bit of it alone. So therefore, what can you do to make sure that time that you are alone, you're making the best possible outcomes for yourself? And as I say, we'll get onto that into the second part of the meeting.
I think this is a big step, though. I think for a lot of people, just being able to sit and agree that we're all feeling the same, and then listen to you say there are ways of making it, even if it's a little bit better.
Right, we'll have a break now then, yeah? Yes? Judith Butler? Yes. We're going
Your turn this time.
Right,
They do call me Kathy, no, Chatty Kathy.
Right, we're going to spend another, say, half an hour talking, and then this is obviously being recorded, and then we're going to end that bit, and then we're going to open it out to any questions that you want to ask, regardless of what they are. Okay? Because this young man is going to answer them. Right, next question then is, how can we protect ourselves from things such as osteoporosis, which we touched on earlier, didn't we? Heart disease and strokes.
Okay. A lot of that's going to come down to nutrition and hydration. Again, I know I'm going to keep saying it over and over again, but it does come down to it. Exercise has actually got quite a small role to play in that sort of stuff, and that's a shocker hearing that from a PT. You know, because it's my job to sell you some fitness. It's not true. You can stave off heart disease, stroke, and all these different things by changing your nutrition. What I find is that what we've been told for the last 40 years is practically a load of rubbish. So this low fat, eat a load of carbs stuff is the biggest load of rubbish you could possibly ever indulge yourself in.
So would you say things like the keto diet and stuff like that we're being told to...
Yeah, so the keto diet is a good diet. Okay, I would never do anything that's got diet writ after it.
Yeah.
I prefer nutrition plans. I'm not going to lie, I prefer to add stuff in that I want. I'm quite a fussy eater for a personal trainer. So, not very good with veg, not brilliant with salad. I love chocolate, not going to lie. And I love pizza. In fact, I was probably addicted to pizza 2 years ago. I'm not being straight up, it was the cheese on the pizza. I was practically addicted to it. But when you're looking at things like osteoporosis, heart disease and all that, there are stuff in the gym that you can do, okay? Don't be afraid to lift a weight. Makes an absolutely massive difference. Weight bearing exercise makes a huge...
I like them things that you lift your legs up with.
Yeah, so that's a leg extension. That's a resistance machine. The reason why resistance machines and so many people like them is because they're fixed. So if I told someone now to do a squat, clean and press, you'd go, eh? Whereas if I said, right, I want you to go into the gym, find a leg extension, read the passage on the side and work out what it does, and then I want you to do 15 reps, 3 sets. I want you to lift it up 15 times, 3 times. You can do that because it's structured. Okay. The problem is, if you were to go on Instagram now and look at a workout, it would frighten the life out of you because it's so functional. These people have been doing it for 2, 3, 10 years. Okay. The best thing in the world you can do start off with is housework because it actually gets you moving. People do go to all the time. Well, I do the housework every day. Great. That means you are actually exercising. So therefore, once you've done your housework, could you go for a walk? Could you get together with the girls and do a Pilates class? Could you get together and go to the gym together? You know, I'm quite shocked that not more people are worried about going to the gym, to be honest with you, because it's the biggest thing I've ever faced. But it's where you start from. If you do no exercise, doing the housework is exercise. Doing something like, you know, moving stuff from cupboard to cupboard is exercise, it's movement. Even if you sat on your chair at night and did that for half an hour, that, or swinging your legs,
It would be really annoying.
is really annoying, but is actually more than sat there just watching the TV. It depends on where you're starting from. Now, if you've got the confidence to go in there and get yourself going on something, great. I would always say now with gyms, take advantage of what the trainer's going to give you, because most gyms or fitness facilities you're going to go into provide either a health assessment or a free first session. Grab it, take it, even if it's a load of rubbish. From my point of view, being quite a high level personal trainer, it's actually going to be better than going in there and walking on a treadmill for half an hour. Take the advice of someone who's somewhat got their qualification in that. But just getting started around the house makes a huge difference. I was just talking to a lady about over in the corner. Finding what works for you makes a huge difference. Now, there's some people in here that don't want to work out in a group. There's a lot of people in here who may want to work out in a group. There's people in here who may want to work out in a group but don't know where that group is. So it's worth doing your research online to find what would work for you. Pilates and yoga are fantastic to get yourself into exercise. Because you go there and you think, oh, it's just people sitting around going on. No, it's not. do a yoga class, do a Pilates class. You will be dripping with sweat. And at the same time, you're engaging your core. Yes, you're going to ache. That's part of exercise. That happens. But once you get past that aching point, you start to get used to what you do.
I think that with aching, through exercise, not through old age, that you actually makes you feel alive.
Yeah, it's a different type of ache.
Yeah.
Aching you will feel in a muscle. aching you'll feel with old age is more in a joint.
It's a nice pain, isn't
Oh,
it?
it's
It's
an
a nice
addictive pain.
I've cycled 50 miles today and my legs are killing, but it's a
I bet you
nice
like
pain.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
about that nice pain comes from the endorphins you're releasing by exercising, and then by getting your nutrition moderately okay, and then by trying to get yourself 8 to 9 hours sleep a night. Imagine how much difference that's making.
If your
So-
joints are stiff though,
yeah,
are you doing damage to your joints? Because I mean, I'm
by doing weight bearing exercise.
by doing anything.
For
like
me,
that.
no.
No.
Not if you're doing them correctly. So let's say, for example, now we're doing a bicep curl. If you were to go like that, that would do damage. If you keep your arms slightly bent and just do it in that sort of movement, that shouldn't hurt. It may hurt because it's a little bit stiff, but once you get through it, it will help itself out. And then by doing stuff like increasing your oily fish, believe it or not, by increasing dark chocolate, makes a massive difference to your joints.
85%.
Not many places sell it.
Dark chocolate's fantastic.
85%. Oh,
So what I always say to my guys whenever I write a nutrition plan is have 2 cubes of dark chocolate before bed. Really helps you sleep. Now, if you're really clever, what you do is buy Linked, because their cubes are about that big. So you get more chocolate, obviously.
That's what I buy.
Yeah, if you buy Bourneville, they like this. But
85%.
Cadbury's have just shot me. But yeah, there's lots of different things that you can do to sort of make yourself feel
Does
much better.
sleep make a big difference?
Oh,
Because
it's
I know a
huge.
lot of ladies struggle
Sleep is huge.
with like sleep deprivation, you know, and waking up in the night
Yeah.
and they're struggling, then they're feeling really tired the next day. Is there anything, obviously exercise will help them sleep because it'll wear them out in a different way, it can wear them out physically.
Kind of,
And-
it can actually wake you up.
Yeah.
If you're someone like me or you, it will actually speed you up. You'll get the euphoric feeling and wake up.
Yes. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I totally get that. But for other people, say maybe doing like yoga,
Yeah.
or doing something that is a slow exercise, not like something that is crazy or whatever. Will that then help them? Or if they set like a bedtime routine, and we were talking about having time for yourself, and maybe that could be the time for themselves of an evening before they go to bed, just to say, right, this last half an hour, I'm not going to have my phone on. I'm going to go through this ritual every night that becomes a habit that then...
I find most people don't sleep due to stress. Now, stress comes in many, many different forms. You don't only have to have a headache and bad thoughts to be stressed.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone got lower back pain? Anyone got upper back pain? Most people in this room. That could be stress. That could be stress harvesting itself in the body somewhere because it's tried to get away, get around your body and get out, and it hasn't. Now, if you're creationist, this doesn't really work, but energy can't be created or destroyed. Energy can still be stress. Stress energy comes from cortisol. You've got to find a way to get it out. And that could be through exercising, that could be through reading a book, that could be through listening to music in your head that makes you feel good, that could be talking to someone or coming to a meeting like this that makes you feel that little bit less stressed. But most women are actually panicking about sleeping. They're going, I really need a good night's sleep tonight. And then you don't.
Yeah, that's right.
And that the problem
is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, well,
Get up in the
kind
morning.
of.
I've had 4 hours.
There are different types of sleep. Now, the best sleep is delta sleep. Okay, now that is massively biologically difficult to explain. You've got light sleep, non-REM, REM, and there's a stage called delta. At delta sleep, you are getting the best sleep you can. It's also known as a cat nap. That 20 minutes in a day, you sleep in the day, all of a sudden, bang, you're alive again. That's delta sleep.
My doctor told me to do that.
It's easier to do in the day than it is at night. So, we've lost him again. Guys, get you back. Hello. The big thing is when we're coming down to stuff like hydration, you've got to get all this stuff around the body. Where do you think that I know we've got nerve cells and all those different things, but we've got to get the messages around the body. So by making sure that you're drinking enough water in the day, by trying to get some exercise. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it, because I promise you now you will feel worse for doing it. But trying to de-stress yourself is the best thing that you could possibly do. And you've got to find what works for you. Okay? I know that going to the gym and getting to the point where I can barely drive my car home makes me feel amazing. Now you've got to get to that point where you're addicted to exercise. Some people feel great when they're just sat there watching the TV. Now if that de-stresses you, do it. There are better things to do, but do it. If that's what de-stresses you, do it. Now bringing this all back to menopause, most women during the menopause really struggle with sleep. Again, am I going to say that I'm going to get you to get to the point where you're going to have 9 hours of interrupted sleep? I can't promise you that. But what I can do is try and give you an extra half an hour, an extra hour here, and you will feel better for doing it. And that is by eating 2 cubes of dark chocolate before bed, which I recommend to everyone, and making sure that you're hydrated throughout the day. Also, on most of your smartphones now, there's a blue light feature.
I'll do that.
So if you turn that on your phone, that will take the blue light off. The blue light keeps you awake.
What's a blue light?
What do you mean?
Do you know
So
what
on
I've done
your-
as well?
so
I
it-
don't
it-
use my phone
it
from
lo-
10 onwards.
So if you go onto your phones now, you'll probably
Yeah,
find something that says like red light
Display.
screen.
That on it, you've got to cover it.
That does, because when the screen's on, it's looking at you. It only works when the screen's on. So if you open it up now, it'll be bright glaring at you.
Yes, what do we need
You
to
can
do?
turn a mode on that gets the light off.
Go on settings.
Yeah, settings. It'll be on, or you can pull it down. It's an instant feature.
Oh, it's
So if you got anyone got Samsung, anything like that, you can pull it down and it actually says blue light feature and turns it off.
A blue light.
What's screen mirroring?
Screen mirroring.
I've never done it on iPhone, so I won't be able to tell you. Best thing for you to do when you go on, guys, Google how to turn it on. I'm not technologically the best way to do it, but there is a way. Yeah. So when you go home, Google it. You'll find out the best way to do it. Turn it on. Make sure it's on. Make sure that you turn the blue lights off on your phone. And so when you turn the feature on, the blue light goes off and a red one comes on. So make sure you turn on the feature. It will be turned off at this moment in time. Google how to turn on the blue light.
Right, okay.
We'll bring you back round, yeah? biggest mistake I ever made, saying that. No. Yeah. If you get it right, what happens is the light on your phone changes.
It goes
And you
blue.
sleep.
This lady would like, sorry.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Can you, Nicola, can we have your attention, please?
It's just a thought, like when you said about sleeping, I used to sleep terribly,
Mhm.
but since January I haven't had any alcohol,
Mhm.
so that's helped me sleep.
Mhm.
And also, I've got, because I suffer from that SAD syndrome, seasonal disorder,
Mhm.
so I've got a lamp,
I've got a
and what I've started to do is go to bed, and then I'll set it for half an hour, so it slowly goes down, doesn't it, to
Yeah.
dusk, and the difference it makes.
Yeah, but you've
So
got
then again, it's
also
the ladies were, you know,
one of the ones I had the other day,
that
which was strange, is a lady bought a gravity blanket. It's a 20 kilo blanket. It's worked perfectly. Sleep's totally transformed. But again, it just puts more weight onto you. You feel you don't move as much underneath it. But as I say, I'm just giving you 10 different things that could potentially help you with your sleep. So you've got to find it for yourself what works for you. Okay, if you find that you do something and you sleep worse, don't do that.
Again.
Okay, don't do that again. If you find something that works for you, try and actively do it. Okay, again, it's bringing it back to yourself, being proactive and making sure that
I
the things
find
are.
though, I had a thing on my phone like a meditation app. Yeah.
Mine's
And it-
space by any chance.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
only did a trial thing, and it really helped me relax. I go to sleep, and I'd sleep, and I thought I've been asleep for about 7 hours, and then I wake up in 2 hours with a start, and then I just can't go back to sleep.
Okay. The problem is you're trying to panic to get back to sleep.
Yeah.
The idea is to think, I'll fall asleep in my own time. My body's doing this for some certain reason. The idea is to try and not because the idea is you're automatically thinking of the next day. If I don't get sleep, I'm going to be groggy tomorrow.
Yeah,
Straight away, you're
absolutely.
increasing your stress. You're staying
Yeah.
awake. What I would always try and do is, okay, if I woke up, I've woke up. I've gone to the toilet. I've gone back in bed. I'll try and go to sleep. If it doesn't work, I'll just lie there and try and chill out, or
get up, read a book. That's
or try get up, read a book. Try a meditation thing that you were talking about. There's a lot of different things that you can try and do to get yourself back to sleep, but that makes a huge difference. And I'm talking to you in the break. I obviously got the word of anxiety. Okay, anxiety is huge at the moment. I believe it's come through social media, but let's move away from that for a second. Anxiety comes where you're struggling to regulate serotonin. Okay, so serotonin is the thing that gives you sort of happiness and that sort of different stuff. If you're struggling to regulate serotonin, you'll feel anxiety, and if you struggle to manage that, you'll go into depression. Okay, that's why anxiety and depression are so close together. The problem is the word is thrown around too much. Okay, if you're sad. Okay, I'm saying this now, this is quite a horrible thing to say, but if you're just sad, you're just sad. Okay, depression stays with you. Now, depression can be acute, depression can be prolonged, depression can be in and out. You can have moments of drastic highs, drastic lows, all these different things. That's just because your body's struggling to regulate serotonin. And regulating serotonin is by eating more frequently, by making sure that stuff can get around your body. I'm coming back to hydration and nutrition again, aren't I?
And just a question, because I had a lady who did some training with me years ago, and she always said, make sure you don't go to bed hungry, because you'll wake up and your blood sugars drop. What would you recommend having before bed?
It depends.
And a banana.
But what I wouldn't have is stuff that's really high in carbs, because carbs burn much quicker than they tell you they do. There's no point in saying that they don't, because they do.
I do wake up and I can't get back to sleep if I'm hungry.
If you're having fast-acting carbohydrates before bed, like cereal or anything like that, you will wake up, 100%.
So should I have like a couple of hard-boiled eggs?
Yeah, hard-boiled eggs works, avocado works, all that different stuff. Stuff that baked potato would probably go in about 6 to 8 hours. It'd stay in your body for 18, but it would probably burn in 6 to 8. In terms of getting you weighted. Natural yogurts are fantastic.
So I buy fruit,
high fat yogurt would work really well.
High fat yogurt?
Yeah, high fat yogurt and stuff like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, all these sort of different things. That would help massively. The thing is, do you ever even think of getting this sort of stuff?
Yeah, I'll do.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a brilliant breakfast. It's an absolutely fantastic breakfast. Just behind bacon and egg, that's probably the best breakfast there is.
What's good?
Bacon and egg.
What else did you say?
Natural yogurt and blueberries.
A bit like wheat sweets and blueberries and yogurt.
The fruit's good, but the cereal less.
Wheat's a bit just every day. A bit
If you find that it doesn't prolong for very long.
A bit polished.
Same sort of thing. Fats last long.
For years.
Yeah, fats last longer than carbs. So the question I've got for everybody, hands up, who struggles with sleep?
Yeah.
Absolutely everybody. Practically everybody, apart from the guys that have tried to sort it out. Okay? But that's what we've got to look at, is creating systems that help you out. Because if you don't create those systems, believe me, it won't change. If you don't make a change, nothing will change. So you've got to find what works for you. Yes, it may take a little bit of trial and error. Yes, it may take a little bit of frustration, but you'll find what works.
Do you know many women that have been able to work their way through the menopause by not having HRT and by purely doing it through eating healthy and exercise? And do you think that's actually possible?
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, I've just had to have something because I kept having water infections. And it has got estrogen in, but before then, I didn't have. I didn't need HRT.
And you had hot flushes, didn't you? But you were able to manage them.
Yeah,
weren't you?
but they weren't that bad. Did you have HRT?
Go for it.
From what you've just said, are most of the people here on HRT?
Yeah.
I've just not taken one.
I was sailing through the menopause. I got through the flushes. I got through everything, right? And then 2 years ago, it was the aching joints.
Yeah,
I
me
would
too.
walk
That's the
down
only
the stairs in the morning It was like I was flat-footed.
Mhm.
And well, one said I'm like a drag queen walking down the way I was walking. And the minute I went on the HRT, that went.
Yeah.
And that was the only symptom I went on HRT for.
Yeah, it was the aching joints.
I could tolerate all the others.
The thing is, it's the first thing, because that's the only thing that really the NHS has got for you. That's what you're going to go towards. There's not enough. I would always say.
I did get addicted at one point to the gym. So, but even then, as I said, it was just I just.
There's stuff you can do for joints, like increasing your oily fish makes an absolutely massive difference, because where the joints are, there's synovial fluid around these joints, so in your elbows, in your knees, in your ankles, all these different stuff. And I'm really sorry to say this, getting some of the weight off really helps. Because you've got to think 4 times whatever you weigh is going through your knees every single time that you move. You'll find that we're also keeping your joints relatively sort of not straight. Straightening things is always quite difficult because then it's pressing together. Always keeping things nice and soft is always useful. But increasing your oily fish, increasing your water, because your water gets into them synovial joints and starts to make it more fluid and that sort of stuff. But coming back to your question on can you get through it, that depends on how your brain's feeling at that time, because I cannot tell you how. There's when people talk about stress, they talk about menopause, they talk about all these different things. We try to make it on a scale. That is absolutely impossible. Someone's pain threshold is going to be higher than another one's. Someone's durability is going to be higher than someone else's. You've got to work it. You've kind of got to work this out for yourself. And if that's what you guys take away from tonight, that would be great, because you've got to understand your body. Now, I've trained so long now and eaten for so long and drank so much water that I get it. I know what works for me. I know that if I'm feeling stressed, it doesn't matter what time of the gym, what time of the day it is, I'm going to the gym. It's as simple as that.
You know, you were saying about obviously oily fish and that. Is there any vitamins that we should be taking as well? Or
it's difficult with vitamins to sort of say this is what you're deficient or over efficient in. Most people are now deficient in vitamin D because we move from one hamster box to another. Okay, you move from one place into a car into a house. So you're always moving from one place to another. The best thing you could possibly do is get outside. Makes a huge difference.
What's your thoughts on vegans and vegetarians? And would that have...
Not as them as individual people.
No, not as individual. If you're a vegan or a vegetarian, does that help with your hormones?
It can, if it's a drastic change, it can massively affect your hormones. Because let's say, for example, you've been a meat eater all your life and you cut it out, your body's going to go, where's that gone? Now, some people will feel dramatically better because they've cut it out, but then others will feel dramatically worse. Now, if we look at takeaway food, for example, there aren't many vegetarian options at your major places. So if you look at your McDonald's, your KFC, all these different stuff, you're not going there for a salad. You're going there to get a Big Mac, or you're going there to get boneless chicken and that sort of stuff. So that does kind of help you cut some of the stuff out. But as long as you can try and work out what you need to eat, which I can show you all how to do afterwards, which is called breaking down your macronutrients, which is not as hard as it sounds, you can almost work out what you need to eat. Okay, I find that people that go vegan generally start for about 7. I find that it's quite vegan's very different to vegetarian. Okay, I do take a little bit of exception with vegan. It is very, very different to vegetarian because it's almost cutting out everything, so to speak. You're going down to it's. To be honest with you, what most vegans don't realise is it's a carbohydrate-based diet. And that's quite hard to understand because people go, oh, vegans eat veg, they eat salad, they eat this. They eat a lot of bread, they eat a lot of potato, they eat a lot of rice, they eat a lot of pasta, they eat a lot of all these different things. Those are carbs. And to get the volume into the body that you need to feel satiety, which is not hungry, is vast. So this is where I have a little bit of issue with going to be. Let's say, for example, now meat can actually deregulate things. So if you eat too much meat, you can get too much stuff into the body. I find that normally when you eat meat, your testosterone goes up a little bit. Normally, red meat does that quite a lot. So if you're finding that your libido's gone a little bit, then going on to stuff like red meat would make a massive difference. For people who know libido to sex, obviously, but get some steak in you. No, but that's the way that I would look at it.
Okay, well then that there. Thank you.